Hi, everybody. Deb here again. Just wanted to jump in here just to make sure that we were all getting the same message regarding proficiency scales and how to use them in with our reported standards. They are quite a bit different than what you would think of a summative rubric. When a summative rubric is brought up, we tend to think of it being as they get a 1 if they can do it with some success. They get a 2 if they do it with more success. They get a 3 if they can do it with success, and 4 with exceptional success. Well, we're walking away from that world and we're going into the proficiency scale world. Right now, when you are kind of going through this work, you're going to need your unpacking document because we need to find out what it is that we want them to do. The copy of your proficiency scale should look like that. Great resources that help us break down the depth of knowledge levels and just the different criteria along the way is Goalbook Pathways. You might find that helpful if you are in math and reading. Obviously, the Iowa Core is going to be huge in creating our proficiency scales, and the grade below of the same scale and sometimes the grade above also helps make the scale. And of course, your brain. Too often we walk away from the art of teaching and we get too much into the science of it. So we're going to be pulling out your expertise. What do you know students need to be able to do in order to do the next step of learning? Okay, so I'm going to dive in real quick and just do a little conversation about the proficiency scale. The first up here, if you aren't working in the competency world, this is just simply where your standard would go. Then the no evidence, if there is no evidence or the student hasn't even reached the emerging level, they should be putting a goal in there. Like, what do I need to do in order to get to that emerging level? The emerging is just starting, developing is getting almost there, proficient is the actual learning target, and from your unpacking document, you would just simply copy and paste that learning target here. The enriched level, note that this is not the only way in which students can achieve a 4. I just wanted to reiterate that this enriched level is truly an enrichment opportunity for our high flyers. If Joey got through this whole proficient level quickly, I already have it set as to what I can do to enrich his learning. The descriptors down here, the scoring marks, bring that up a little bit so we can see it. If I score him a no evidence, means you've yet to begin learning anything. A 1, you're demonstrating some foundational skills. A 2, you're starting to develop an understanding of the criterion. 3, you have a clear understanding. And 4, you have an in-depth understanding. Note that when I assess this level, I still will use any 1, 2, 3, 4. I can tell the difference between red and blue. That would be, how well am I doing it? Am I doing it at a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4? How well can I do that skill? I can tell the difference between various colors. How well am I doing that? Any 1, 2, 3, 4. I know when I have most of my class at a 2 or a 3, that means I'm ready to go on to the next level. This is the actual learning target. And of course, this is really what we want to know if the students can or cannot do something. So just kind of thinking about what you're doing. That was just a quick overview of the proficiency scale in general. So you've solidified your reported and supporting I can statements from the unpacking document. Copy and paste them into the proficient level right here. And then put your standard code in. Consider how students will be learning the scales of the reported period, perhaps lower grade level, higher grade level. So again, within here, think about what is the first thing my students need to be able to do in order to do this? What is the second thing my students need to be able to do in order to do this? And like I said, Goalbook Pathways really helped us with this. Make sure you build student capacity in each level. Don't fall in the trap of telling them what they can't do. And that's where I'm at with, I can't always tell the main idea. I can sometimes tell the main idea. I can always tell the main idea. That's not what we're going for. What's the first step in learning to determine the main idea? And then link your scale into your template. So I'm going to show you an example of fourth grade. I've used fourth grade a lot. We've done a lot of work with them. I've done a lot of work with them. So notice that this is their reported standard. They have identified this as a priority standard, and they have copy and paste it literally from an unpacking document and put it into here. So I can use the organization of a text to determine the overall structure of a text. They, as a PLC, determined that the first thing they need to be able to do in order to do that is I can identify characteristics of various texts and compare the differences. Once they have at least 80% of their class proficient at this level, we go to this level. I can identify textual clues that will help determine the structure of the text. When they are able to do that, then we move into this level. So if Joey, a small group, Joey rocks through all of these things, we need to get Joey up into, notice, the fifth grade standard. To reiterate, we can score, or we will score at the proficient level using the any 1, 2, 3, 4 codes. You do not have to do outside grade level, outside the expectation to achieve a 4. Here are our criteria marks. If they quite literally are doing the proficient level, it's a 3. If they're not quite there yet, and we do create scoring guides for PLCs to determine what not quite there looks like. We are just walking into the world of Look at Student Work protocol, LASW, to help us determine what is the best, what is an exemplar, what pieces are missing. And if you have ever looked at in the Iowa Core in the appendices, that's exactly what they do. They have an exemplar, they have an example of what a 2 quality would be, a 1 quality. So that's what we're trying to do in-house with our stuff. Okay, so if you have any questions about this screencast, about the proficiency scale creation in general, always reach out to me directly, or even a better idea is to put it onto the forum so that other people may learn from you as well.